The Aloha Hour with Johny and Dewey.
All right. All right.
I like that. That's a great opening. It feels
you.
good. I feel like I'm ready for island vibes now.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And of course, I'm going to introduce real quick our guest, our special guest of today. He is the anchor of Good Morning Hawaii. He joined KITV news team in 2016 after spending 20 years in radio at iHeartMedia. As a radio announcer on Star 1019, he won the Honolulu Star-Bulletin's People's Choice Award for Best Radio Personality. He's also a well-known DJ, award-winning actor, podcaster, social influencer, and the official race announcer and voice of the Honolulu Marathon. He is Maleko McDonnell. What's up, brother?
Right on. Thanks, Johnny. That's a great intro. I like that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Thank you very
and
much.
I'm sure that we missed probably plenty stuff.
I don't remember, but it sounded pretty good. It's
Right
it's
on.
like I did all that. That's good.
That's
How
good.
the
Yeah.
hell did we get you to come here? What the hell did we do? We tricked somebody. We pay somebody a lot of money.
No, you know what? You guys are doing great over here, man. Miko told me you guys had a great time with you guys. So I'm stoked to be here. My brother Miko was.
Yeah.
How many weeks ago was that? He was on a little while ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. I think it was almost a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was episode 13 or 14 or something like that.
He said he had a good time.
Yeah, you're episode 31. So, yeah, we're super stoked. I can't believe we're already at 31. I mean,
It goes by so damn fast because every week I'm telling Maleko, I'm sitting
You guys
here.
have only been doing this for a couple of months, and you're already at 31 episodes. That's amazing.
Well, poor Brad. We've been packing it in 2, 3, 4. Every Wednesday and Thursday is kind of our time coming together. So it's been super fun. I'm learning a lot, and there's a lot of information that you can share to our community, and that's what's exciting about this whole place.
yeah. I think everybody brings something to the table, Everybody that's sitting your table, every time you learn something new, It's crazy how talented people are and how people never give up. And when I hear those stories, I just get goosebumps. I'm like, fuck, tomorrow going to be a great day. And this is kind of the message. But forget about talking about us. Let's talk about you, because we have a lot about you. So let's go. First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you born local?
No, I was born in California, and then
Wait, hold on, what part? I'm always curious.
Lodi,
Lodi,
California.
NorCal.
It's a little train town.
Yeah, Lodi, NorCal.
Grapevines, vineyards, just a tiny little place. I don't remember much of it. I remember it was tiny, and then we moved to Hawaii when I was 7, right after Hurricane Iniki.
Oh my God!
And then I've lived here ever since, except for a short stint in college. But
Mom and Dad decided to move to Hawaii. Is that how you got here?
Dad was a printer, and he got a job at the Sun Press. He was a pressman, so he ran the big giant wheels of paper that would go through, and he got a job. They flew him out here, and he was running the Sun Press for several years, and they moved the whole family out. We lived in Kailua.
Wow.
So you went to East Side for high school, did the whole deal?
Yeah, let's see if I can remember. My first years were at Enchanted Lakes Elementary, and then shortly after that we moved to St. Anthony's in Kailua. My mom put me there for a little bit, and then I went to Catholic school for the rest of it. So
Yeah.
graduated from St.
Back
Louis.
then, it was just you and Keoki?
No, Keoki was with us, but it was Kekoa, which is the one.
Yeah.
There's 2 older than me. It's Keoki, then Kekoa, then me.
Wait,
and then,
Kekoa is older than you?
Yes.
No way.
Yeah. People always think he's younger than me. No, he's an
Well,
old.
he looks
old,
more like
man.
Miko.
He does. He's old.
How old is he?
He's old.
How old is Nico, huh?
He's old, man. I don't know how he's way older than me. I know.
Right on.
Yeah, and then Miko and I it was mostly the 2 of us, because the 2 of them were old enough to go on and do things. So.
Yeah. So basically, you were so young, so you don't know anything else. Your adaptation to the whole Hawaiian lifestyle and culture was easy. So was there a big struggle, or not really?
Not really, because
you're brown looking too.
You're
so.
a kid, you come here. I remember we lived in the hills, Keolu Hills.
Yeah.
And we lived right across the street from Hapa family, little Hapa kids, and they were about the same age as us, and We learned everything about Hawaii from them. You know, we learned about shave ice. We learned about musubi. You know, we learned about which beaches to go to, which beaches not to. There was it was a steep learning curve, but we had good people.
And you were a good student?
I was pretty good. I was a troublemaker, but I did good in grades.
Yeah. But I heard that you were always like involved and like you always had a microphone close to you. Somehow you were a president or you had something to do with radio and announcing. You just love the microphone.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Because I was always putting on a show for something, you know. When I was in elementary school, I was involved with whatever programs were there. I started performing in the Honolulu Boy Choir in about middle school or so. You know, I don't know. I loved it. I would go to shows and I'd see kids on the stage in the shows and I'd be like, I want to do that. I'm better than that. I can do that. And then I did.
So did you find your passion or your calling in high school, or you think it's sooner than that? And you go, you know what? Somehow, some way, I'm going to be something.
You know, I don't know that I found my calling yet. You know, I'm still looking.
Wow.
I mean, I found a lot of things I like to do.
Right.
I love doing what I do, and I love doing what I did.
Yeah.
But I mean, I spent 20 years in radio.
Right.
I thought that was my calling, and then I'm like, now I'm in TV, and I'm like, I like this too.
Huh. Have you found your passion in life, you think?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think.
And what is that? If it's okay for you to share with the rest.
Well, no, it's definitely it's being on stage. You know,
Okay.
it's being it's holding a microphone for sure. I mean, it has something to do with that. Whether it's announcing at an event, whether it's performing in a show, or producing a show. I mean, it's just it's all has to do with entertainment.
Yeah. So do you think that today being the anchor, are you attracted because of the journalistic part or just because of the performance part?
Well, you know, originally...
Ooh, great question.
Yeah, that is a good question. Because I was in radio, and, radio's great, but no one knows who you are, right? You're just a voice in the microphone.
Yeah.
And then I got offered the opportunity in TV, and originally it was, an opportunity to be in front of the camera, to be on TV. That's what attracted me to it. But then I got in the building, and that was right about the time we had Trump getting elected president, and there was this real political divide in the country, and there was this whole fake news thing. Right at the same time I started in news, fake news, and I immediately started to think, it's important for people who are real to be in this business. And that's when I really started to appreciate that I was surrounded by all of these real journalists that have been doing this for decades. And I learned a lot as quickly as I could. And so now, you ask me now how I feel about it, it's about the journalism.
Wow.
So let me ask you this, so you in it's a fairly short time, because it's only been 5 years and as a part of TV news.
Mm-hmm.
Now looking, on the bigger scale, what percentage you think news out there are fake and which is just, which is real? Because the issue I find myself right now, that during COVID for it's going to be almost a year now, it's hard for me to distract the truth, the facts itself, because there's just so much information. And now with social media, most people just don't take the time to do the research and find out what's real and what's not. Mm-hmm. And it's so easy for us to say share or make a comment and all that. I'm really curious because you're in the industry now and you're doing it every day. Yeah. What do you think that percentage is? Fake news versus real news, and who's really out there instigating all the fake news?
I don't know how if I could quantify it in a percentage, because there's new news outlets all the time.
Right.
My mom sends me links from news outlets I'd never heard of.
Wow.
My mom too, on Facebook, right?
Right.
You're
Like, what is
Mom,
this?
What the fuck is that? Is this credible?
Yeah.
And you go and you look, and there's all kinds of news on their website, and it's like, I don't, what I would say is it's not so much like what's real and what's fake. It's, trust sources that seem trustworthy.
Okay.
But verify.
Got it.
You know, it's
so
like
trust with accountability.
right. It's like, you know, CNN is a news source and it's widely accepted. But does it hurt to follow up with, you know, maybe looking at what BBC has to say?
Got it.
You know, and, you know, I also look at what Fox has to say, you know, because they're very different, right?
Yep.
I mean, they're very, very different perspectives, and some would say one is fake and one is real. But at the same time, isn't it nice to know both? You know, like, because I disagree with you doesn't mean that you're full of shit.
Right.
It just means that, you know, maybe you're looking at it different, you know, and that took me a while to get, I think, because, you know, like when mom sends you articles, people send you stuff on the internet, and you're like, how do you believe that? Like, what is, I thought you're smarter than this, you know, what are you talking about?
Well, to be fair, in the beginning of Corona, everybody went fucking, you know, cuckoo. Everybody.
We locked down. We trusted everything. We're like, this thing is crazy. We're gonna die.
And then we were like believing everything.
I was wiping my groceries, man. I was everything that came in. I'd walk into the house. I'd burn my clothes. You know, I left work. I was working from home. You know, I'm immunocompromised. I have asthma, and so at the beginning they said people with asthma die from coronavirus. You know, and they still say that. Which is, I appreciate you guys letting me wear my mask. You know, but the thing is, you know, you trust the sources that are coming in, but you have to be enough of an investigator to do your own research. You know, you can't be sharing the headline,
and the research
and not
cannot
clicking
be
the
based
article.
on YouTube.
It can't be. It can't
be.
You can't get all your news from Aunt Verna on Facebook. You know, that's follow somebody else. You know, just for fun. Follow somebody you don't like just for fun, and just see the craziness that they post.
That's a good idea.
You know, and
Just to
then,
see the other side, like yin and yang. See the other side.
you know, and maybe just so that you can go, you guys are crazy all day.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe because every once in a while they post something and you're like, huh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, for all of us as regular citizen, you know, we need the news because that's the only way we figure out what's true and what's not. But when you go back and reflect, you know, from March until now, it's like the whole country became divided because of the news, of all these information being flooded in the marketplace. Man, if you were the president, like the CEO, the king of all king of news media, what would you do differently, you think? Like, how would you change things, you know, if you have all the power in the world? Because I feel that's what's happening in our country, you know, from the election to this whole COVID thing.
I would ban Facebook from posting news stories.
Okay.
I would ban news stories on Facebook.
Got it.
Any news source.
Okay.
All of it.
Yeah.
You know, in fact, it's happening in Australia right now. I imagine Facebook in Australia is a wonderful place. It's kitten videos and dogs today, you know, because they just banned all the local news outlets. Because that's what it is. It's, you know, Facebook is, the algorithm is designed to amplify your own personal feelings. And, you know, I mean, human nature is you're going to hang out with people who make you feel good. Mm-hmm. Right? And so, you know what they say, that people are a bad influence on you? Mm-hmm. You know, when you're a kid and you're hanging out with the kid who's smoking dope.
Yep.
And your parents are like, you're going to smoke dope.
Yep.
You know, and then you smoke dope, you know, because...
Guilty.
Right? You know, who knew,
Hanging
right?
out with Johnny, guilty.
So it's the same thing on the internet. If you only follow people who think what you think, then you're only going to think that, and you're going to be in this bubble.
Yeah.
And anytime someone's outside the bubble, you're going to think you're crazy. And that's what happens. These people get sucked into these holes. You know, they start following these conspiracy theories. They start believing that one is true and the other can't be true. There's no way.
Yeah.
When the reality is maybe both are kind of true.
Yep. So for you personally, you know, as a father and a husband,
Not a father. Not
yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, where do you go to get your news, and who do you go to get the right facts? You know.
The first thing I do every day is I go on Reddit.
Yes, that's me too.
That's
Yeah.
you know, Reddit is an interesting thing. In a world full of social media algorithms, I feel like Reddit is the last true bulletin board of randomness.
Yes.
You know, it's like it's all crowd approval that gets determined what you see, as opposed to some mysterious AI determining what I want. Like it's like if a million people upvote this story, then I'll see it. Right. Versus
what they want you to see.
Versus what they want you to see. And so I start my day on Reddit, and then I go to Twitter, and then I'll go to my email and see what came in for the day, and then I go into work.
As a journalist, as an anchorman, is there somebody out there that really inspire you or really you look up to, whether that person dead or alive?
You know, there's an era, I would say, of newscasters that I admire. You know, all of the Walter Cronkites, you know, all of the people from the back in the day. Yeah. You know, those guys are dope. Those guys have some amazing, you know, they had morals. Yeah. They had ethics. You know, they had a code of rules that they followed. Yeah. And, you know, I don't know that the world can't ever go back to that, I don't think. But man, what a time to be alive, you know. Yeah. I picture these guys that were smoking on TV at night telling you what's what. Yeah. And it was what's what. Right. It wasn't what he thought. Right. Here's what happened today. Here's what went down. Right. You know, and then when stuff hit the fan, they're the same guys that made you feel better.
Do you think that since you are an anchor, you know something more than us? As far as you're always exposed to news, right? All the time. Sure. So for me, you know, I choose to know less because I have to deal with my day. Mm-hmm. You cannot choose. You don't have that choice. You have to be involved in every fucking thing happening everywhere in the world, every fucking day, 365 days a year. And you, since the first thing you open your eyes, you get your brief, you know all the shit that happens, and now you got to talk about it.
You've been doing research with my wife, huh?
That's true, though. I never stop and think about it. That's true, right? You and I can, but that's what you do for a living. It is. Yeah. Right? It's your career. So your job is to absorb information and data and discern them. That's crazy. I never thought about that.
It's, you know, I don't say that I know more than you, but I get a lot more thrown at me.
Yeah.
And it's easy. Like, my default is to absorb news. You know, my wife is she sits on the couch next to me and I'm disappearing into my phone. You know, what are you doing? I'm deep in an article I found somewhere. You know, I'm reading something about something. I'm watching the millionth video of the insurrection on January 6th, you know? And it's I've seen it. You know, I've seen it a million times. It's over. It's not going to change my life anymore. But I can't help it, you know, and part of it's an addiction. You know, part of it is you know, a casualty of the career, but you know, at the same time, how can you live in a world where so much is happening so fast that does affect you, and not want to see that? And so for me, like, the only time I ever really get to disconnect is when we go on vacation, and then I turn it off. Wow. It's off. It goes into the drawer the first day of vacation, and we sit in the whole day of vacation. If we need the phone, it's my wife's got her phone.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's the only time. I love those. I haven't been able to take a vacation, obviously in a year, but right. I'm looking forward to that.
Do you think that something changed in your own self since you became like more mature and anchor the news? Because you know, the stories that I have and that I prepared are
Let's get into it.
Get into it, man.
Way crazier.
No,
Maleko.
You know what? I'm not. You know, I am an anchor. I play one on TV. You know, I take that job very seriously. But
or better to say, that role very seriously.
I take that role very seriously. You know, I understand the responsibility of that. Yeah. I'm not as crazy as I used to be, but I'm so glad I used to be as crazy as I was. I'm so glad that I had those radio rockin' DJ days to do all
I heard that you had a pirate radio. It was a little bit resembling the Howard Stern show.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Very sexy.
Right. Ay, ay, ay.
cannot believe you know this.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh my God, I'm gonna need another drink. Hold
You
on.
better take 2 swigs. Maybe 4.
Wow. Better
We're
drink
gonna,
up,
yeah,
buddy.
we're gonna get. We got whiskey too, you know. Loose lips makes great
Yeah.
shows.
It's the 3 fingers of whiskey would be nice.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, let's get you.
100%.
Yeah.
You really brought up the pirate radio, man. That was a time. College.
Well, that
I was in
the
college.
time that you were like.
I was in college. I was experimenting with what could be.
Did you go to UH or did you go to school somewhere else?
No, I was in Northwest Missouri State University.
Okay, got it.
Which is in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
I moved there because of a girl I met on the internet.
No way.
Yeah.
Wait,
Way
you
before
left-
Tinder.
Wait, you left
Way
the
before-
island?
Yeah,
you
way
left the
before
island
Tinder.
Yeah, so I left.
for a girl you met on the internet?
not exactly. I left the island.
Okay, yeah,
because
clarify that.
my high school counselor screwed me. He recommended University of Montana.
No wonder you and I dropped out of college. Oh, we flunked out. We didn't have a choice.
Oh my God, he's killing me.
I can't believe it. I'm graduating from high school. I'm looking for schools. I'm looking at Boston College.
Wow.
You know, I'm looking at UCLA, and he says, "I got the school for you. It's a broadcasting school. It's University of Montana. You know, they have a deal with Hawaii. You get a discount. I'm not paying for it. You know, I don't care. Whatever." And I take the deal. I go to University of Montana. I get there. It's nothing but loggers. You know, the loggers are literally guys who log trees.
Yeah.
And you know, and hippies. I mean, it's just this mountain. There's a radio station on campus. It's a public radio station, but they don't teach you anything, and they don't hire college students. They hire professionals. It's a real radio station. And so I get there, and I'm out. You know, like they got a communication school, kind of. It's beautiful. I don't mean to dog it too much. University of Montana, Missoula, Montana.
Shout out to Montana.
Gorgeous place. You know, I loved it. But it was terrible for me, you know. And so while I was there, the one thing they did have is they had the internet in what year did I graduate college? 1993.
Wow.
Just starting.
They had the internet, and they had it was all text, you know, but you could chat. And I started chatting with this girl at the university in Missouri, Northwest Missouri State. Anyway, long story short, I wound up going there. The relationship didn't last, but the school was fantastic because they actually had a broadcasting school, and that's where I learned everything. Was there.
And that's when you started your pirate radio.
And
Pirate radio.
that's where allegedly
Allegedly.
I was involved. I was accused of being involved with some sort of a pirate broadcast. Somebody had set up an FM transmitter and transmitted the Cablecast college station to the community.
Wow.
Yeah, it didn't last. It lasted a week, I think, before the FCC shut it down.
Fuck.
Was it music or was it a talk show? Or we were just
It was a college station. You know, it was like UH.
okay.
You know, it was
got
like KTUH.
Yeah.
But KTUH is on the air.
Right.
This station wasn't. This station was Cablecast. And at the time, all that meant was you could only get it on your TV.
Right.
And this kid, it wasn't me, this kid grabbed from some catalog, he ordered a transmitter, and he plugged his TV into the transmitter, and the whole town, 20 miles of town, got the radio station all of a sudden. And it was a glorious week. Everyone was celebrating. I was on the air having a good time, and they, they had a good time. So,
But you always take it to the edge. Like I know that you were covering the earthquake and then the electrical shutdown that we had. Like you always that I don't know, that edgy. And you had a procedure done live on your radio show.
What did I do?
Insectomy?
No, I didn't have it live.
Okay.
I didn't have it live. We talked about it, though.
Okay.
We talked about it.
Okay.
Boy, that would have been a different show.
So I thought for a moment
yeah,
that was live on the radio. Oh my Lord.
I was actually, the vasectomy was, we discussed it on the radio.
Okay.
I was a morning show DJ, and you're always looking for something to talk about.
Right.
And at
Why
the
not
time,
a vasectomy?
Yeah.
at the time, I just got out of a bad relationship where the girl had said, it was a terrible relationship. It was like we didn't like each other, and the only thing we really had going was sex.
Yeah, you should have married her.
And at one point, I think she said to me, she says, I could just get pregnant, and then you'd have to stay with me forever.
Gosh.
But she said it like that, like not like intentionally,
Yeah.
like, as a threat.
As a threat.
And I brought it up to my morning show partner. I think it was Flash at the time, and we talked about it on air. And I said, what if I just got a vasectomy? That takes the power away from her. And then the listeners called in. Of course, they all have opinions.
Right.
And my mom actually listened, and and she called me, and she's like, "Are you really thinking about this?" And I said, "Yeah, And the truth of the matter is, at that time, I decided I didn't want any kids.
Wow. How old were you then?
I was 23.
Got it.
Did you change your mind since then?
No.
Yeah.
No.
You choose to live life.
I have no, I have travel miles. I don't have kids. I have memories. I have wonderful destinations in my head, places I still want to go. No desire to have kids. I don't feel like I missed anything there.
No, 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a choice people make, and there's no right or wrong.
Right. It's like your choice is great.
Yeah.
My choice for me is no. And fortunately, I found a beautiful, wonderful woman who thinks the same way I do.
Yeah.
And and she's like, that's great. I don't either.
Yeah, the fact that you can travel, with a day's notice, and you can just
Right.
take your stuff and just go.
And just go.
It's such a beautiful feeling that you can just do whatever is good for you, and you don't have to take care of everyone. Or, I have two people.
Do you have kids? You have
two beautiful
kids?
daughters that are dependent
Yeah.
on me. And I was never away from them ever since the day they were born. Ever.
So you took them everywhere.
Everywhere.
That's not easy to do.
I mean, I was with my friends for 5 days in Lake Tahoe snowboarding, but never away for more than, I don't know.
5 days.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, it was. It's definitely one of the riskiest topics I brought up on radio, but it was a great topic. I mean, I think it went on for 2 days. I think we had people calling in days later who wanted to talk about. We were talking about something else, and they wanted to talk about that. People are very opinionated about that, and it wasn't men or women were one way or the other. I mean, everyone had an opinion about whether or not kids are the right thing, and they were all right for them. And ultimately, the girl I was with at the time, the girl that I was dating at the time, went with me. And she's like, yeah, let's do it. If you want to do it, we can do it. And I remember I was driving to the doctor, and I pulled over. It was a doctor in Kailua. I pulled over on the side of the road, and we sat for like a half hour and just talked.
Wow.
And she's like, pull over. I pull over. So it's like, what's gonna happen in 10 years if you change your mind? And I'm like, I guess I'm gonna be screwed. Because you can't really undo it.
Yeah.
You can. You can, but you can't.
Percentage drop.
I remember the doctor told me, he says, you can spend 10 grand to try and undo it,
Yeah.
or you can take that 10 grand and take another trip and forget about it.
Yeah.
And
I like that guy.
that was the best thing I ever heard,
Yeah.
And so, we pulled over, we talked about it for a half hour, and at the end of that half hour, I was even more adamant than before.
Yeah.
That's what I
Back
wanted to
then, at age 23, was Howard Stern that inspired you? Was it Rush Limbaugh? Was it Tom Likas? Who was a radio personality that you go, you know what, man, I'm digging this guy?
It was all of them.
Yeah.
My dad loved Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah.
And my stepfather. And I loved listening to him because he commanded that microphone. He was the man.
Yeah.
I don't agree with a lot of what he said.
Right.
Most of what he said.
Right.
Maybe all of what he said,
Yeah.
But I loved what he did.
Right.
As a radio DJ.
He was powerful, man.
He was
He
powerful.
influenced America more.
He really did.
He really did. And he just passed too. And yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the guy, love him or hate him, he had a place in radio history.
Yeah.
And the same thing will be said about Howard Stern. And Howard Stern was another one. A lot of
100%.
people said, I want to be like Howard Stern. I was like, I don't really want to be like Howard Stern. But man, I love what Howard Stern does.
Yeah.
I like who he is. I like what he does. I like his whole thing. and he did it, for the right reasons. I think everything he did at the right time for the right reasons was to accelerate his career, and it worked.
I want to, and I ask you something, as we look at our society, right, as technology moves, further and further deeper into AI, back in the day, every single car had a radio, every house has a radio. I personally I don't barely watch TV. If I do, it's only whatever show I want, which is mostly, because I select what comes into my brain. And radio, I didn't it's gone, so I only watch it through whatever news I get. So now, it's like, I just feel like radio is almost like newspaper. It's slowly disappearing. For
you can see it on iHeartMedia. I mean, with all due respect, I mean, they had some issues.
I don't work there anymore. Yeah, go for it.
No, I mean,
it's true though. You're right. Your observations aren't wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, they're trying. They're doing their best. But I mean, I guess it's a little bit. Do you think that podcast took over?
I think, not yet.
By the way, just everybody,
yet, yeah.
all the audience to know, Maleko actually has a podcast with Flash Hansen. It's called the Maleko and Flash Show, and Maleko and Flash are actually the first people. They already started in 2009 to do podcasts. Before it was cool, before it was hipster, before anyone knew what it is. Every time they said podcast, everybody said broadcast, and they said no, podcast. At least now people know, and they restarted the podcast again. You guys should tune in, check it out. They're going wild. They're going smart. They just had 2 weeks ago, they had Lieutenant Josh Green, and they have cool people. They're going to have, I think you're going to have Makua playing or something.
Yeah, Makua was just on yesterday. And then next week we're going to have a stuntman from Hawaii Five-0.
Wow.
Which ought to be pretty cool. And Magnum PI, one of the local guys, I don't know. We get different guys. It's like you. I mean, our show is a lot like your show, actually. Only you guys actually have a full bar.
That's easy to fix.
Flash, you listening to this? You blew it.
If this is the only thing you guys got to fix, man,
That's easy.
It's one trip to Costco and you're done.
And your research is fire, dude. I can't believe you're bringing up some of the things you brought up. This is good.
Well,
this stuff isn't Googleable.
It's not Googleable.
No, you made calls. I love it.
Of course. But also, we want to keep it interesting. We don't want to talk to you about whatever, what everybody is talking about.
Right.
We do our own research, and thankfully, I'm friends with your brother.
Oh yeah. That does help.
Which does help, and he is a beautiful human that always I feel like he gets my brain, like he gets me. Mm-hmm. He likes what I do, and I like what he does, so we have a good understanding. So immediately when I called him, I'm like, okay, Miko, I have Maleko on Thursday.
Give me some dirt. Give me some dirt.
And I want to thank Miko for giving up the goods. Yeah. Thanks, Miko. Remember what Mom said about dirty laundry? You put that inside.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, he did tell me a couple of things, and then he's like, oh, okay, don't mention this, and then he's like, okay, don't mention this. So we did.
So you mentioned them.
No,
not yet.
We out of the 5 he gave me, he only let me use 3. So
I want to see what the other 2 are.
It's coming. We just started. It's coming.
We had the pirate
radio. Yeah.
We had the pirate radio. And then the other thing, the vasectomy that he shared with me, that you guys had as a topic.
Yeah.
And I think there was one more, which we're going to get to. But I know you did the Aloha together. You did a televised, like a concert for COVID.
We did. That was, when COVID, a year ago now, March, everything started shutting down. I was, at the time, I was emceeing 3 events a month, at least. Concerts, conferences, things like that. And automatically, I saw what was happening in February. I saw what was happening on the mainland. And, you look around Hawaii and you're like, what are we doing to stop this? How are we preventing this from coming here? And we weren't doing anything.
Yeah.
And so I talked to Flash. I said, look, March, this thing's going to be here. You know, we should do something to help these people because we're going to have to lock down. And we did. In March, middle of March or something like that, the lockdown happened. And we immediately reached out to our friends, the bands, the promoters, the concert venues. We called all of them. And we said, we want to do a concert on television. And then it wound up being the Aloha Together, where we had all the bands do performances from their couch and then send them into us. And then we used it to raise money. We raised $40,000 for PPE.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's what's up.
it was a good show. It was fun.
Maleko, if anything we can share with you since we started the podcast, and we have so many musician and entertainer, and like a government, you know, it's like they're like second or third tier, and they didn't really
Or not even on the tier.
Yeah.
I know. So financially,
Yeah.
so if anything, you and Flash can do anything to help all these performers, from comedian to musician, because their livelihood just stopped because they cannot perform anymore. Somehow, some way, if you guys can really hui together and get these, you know, people coming exposed in somehow so they can continue on to do their craft and earn a living, it'll be tremendous. Like, I don't know how, to be honest with you. I just feel their pain.
Well, it's
You know.
interesting. You know, last week I attended a conference. There's a new group in Hawaii. They just formed because of the pandemic. It's called the Hawaii Events Coalition. And it is, you think about all the event producers in town, like Hawaii Stage and Lights. They're competitors with theatrics, you know. Eggshell Lighting, you know, is competitors. So like all these different companies that pre-pandemic were fighting for the same piece of pie,
Right.
all got together
Nice.
like friends.
nice.
They got together, they sat at a big table, and they said, you know what we all have in common? We're not on the tiered system.
Yes.
There's no events. If
Right.
you look at the tiered system, tiers 1 through 4, 4 is events, and 4 is like no pandemic, no
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
It's
10
not.
years,
It's never
I'm
going to
saying.
happen. 4 is a pipe dream.
Yeah.
It's years, and you know these are people that produce conferences. They produce anything that ever happened at like the arena or the convention center or the Blaisdell concert hall or the Shell, or even just outdoor venues. They're not on the grid,
Right.
but these are professionals.
Right.
These are people who know how to handle problems and solve problems.
Yeah.
And they actually held an in-person conference following guidelines. They had half capacity at the convention center, COVID protocols in place, social distancing, and they held a video televised conference, and they streamed it to the world. And they said, look, we are not a social gathering. We are structured events with rules and protocols in place. You know, we can hire security. We can hire COVID teams. We can make sure that everything is taken care of. We're the people that have been doing this the whole time. And they all got together as one voice, and now they, as a coalition, are pitching to the government saying, recognize us.
Yeah.
We can do this.
Right.
You know, concerts maybe a little down the road because they're
Right.
hard. I mean, people are drinking, no one's social distancing.
Right.
That's hard to navigate.
So
But-
just so you know, Hawaiian Aroma Cafe just had 2 concerts on Saturday and Sunday, sold out shows with the Rebel Soldiers and Fia the Artist. And we had Phil, we had a lot of other artists. It was like a jam session. People came up on stage. And
How did you handle the crowd? What did you do?
only tables. You have to sit on the table.
With people you came with?
Only has to be like your, up to 5 people per table. Has to be same household. Contact tracing. Everybody get, we measured everybody's temperature at the entrance. We told them that they cannot dance, they cannot go to other tables, they cannot walk around, They gotta stay at their table. We had waiters that brought the food, and we kind of did like a restaurant concert.
Yeah.
So there are ways to do it. But the problem is people don't want to do it because there are Karens in town. That's
Right.
the only reason. If we would know that we have support from the community, everybody would take a chance, everybody would invest, everybody would do it. But because there are Karens in town, they're going to be like, how do you do social gathering, you all together? And then we're screwed, and then we get fucked. So I think the community need to give us more support that this is really what they want.
And you know what the community needs to give you that support is the assurances that you're not just going to screw it up.
Yeah.
You know, that you're not just going to open the doors and let everybody in, masks off.
100%.
Just people packed in together, sweaty.
So you know what's
messy.
the secret? You know what's the secret? The secret to do a concert is another $800 of security people. That's the difference.
It's
another
protocol.
another 8 people. They're gonna, supervise that you don't stand up, that you don't walk around, that you keep your mask on.
It definitely that's part of it, and it's a policy. It's making sure that everybody understands the rules, both on your staff and at the door. And that's what the Hawaii Events Coalition is all about. And, if you're in the events business, if you're a performer, if you're a producer, if you're a promoter, hit these guys up. Everyone is welcome at the table. And they, as a collective union, are going to the government and saying, these are the rules we agree to. And so they're proposing their own bylaws for events production in Hawaii.
Oh, that's
Nice.
wonderful.
And everybody agrees to them. And and the governor's going to go, hopefully, this looks like a plan.
Yeah.
Here's our 10 or 100 rules, whatever it is. The governor says, you do this, we got it. And then everybody who wants to do an event does this.
Yeah.
And I think that's what these guys are working towards. And they actually want to be back to live events in Hawaii by March 31st. That's their goal.
Wow.
And
I truly hope so. I know you do events. You're a co-producer and co-owner of the Dinner in LeBlanc.
That's right. Dinner en Blanc is 2,000 people.
I have to understand, and forgive my ignorance, but I have to explain to me and to the audience what is Dinner in LeBlanc.
So it's a pop-up picnic held at a secret location.
Cool Ranch, though, no?
Well, one time. You never know where it's going to be.
Okay.
It's been at we've had it at several different locations across the island. The
In
first
2019 was your six ones, yeah?
Yes, and then 2020 was canceled, and hopefully we can do it again in 2021. But it's the idea behind that is fun because it's by invite only. You have to know somebody who's been to go, and then when you go, you bring everything with you. You bring your own picnic supplies, and you follow some rules, and then the whole thing sets up in half an hour. We party for 2 hours, you break it down, and then it's like you were never there.
But you bring your own booze?
You bring your own booze.
You bring your own food?
Yep. You bring your own table, your own chairs.
Your own table, your own chairs,
your own
linen?
decorations, everything. You bring
What the fuck you do? You just take the money?
No.
Fuck, I want to partner up with fucking Maleko, bro.
He brings.
Who the fuck is this guy? I want to be your partner.
He brings the talent.
Free money.
We bring
Brings
the
the
entertainment.
talent. He brings the entertainment. What are you talking about?
I gotta admit, it's a great event because it's as good as you make it. If I invite you to the event and it sucks, it's really your fault because you didn't bring enough booze.
So you're not responsible for anything?
Well, the entertainment. The entertainment is fire every year. we always have amazing bands.
What,
and it's
DJ
a
or
surprise.
bands?
Both. Kulo Ranch. We had the Goodfoot. Those guys are a rockin' dance band. Turtle Bay. We had Kings of Spade, and they just blew the crowd away.
That's a local band?
Local band. Casey. She's the one with the mohawk at the Republic.
Oh,
You
yeah,
might have seen
yeah,
it? The band is fire, dude. They're so good, and they're a rock band. And the Dîner en Blanc crowd is a little bit older, a little bit more refined. And I remember Casey was backstage before she went on at that show, and she's like, "This isn't our crowd." She's like, "These people are dressed in white. They look elegant. They've just been drinking champagne and eating caviar. And we're gonna come out here and we're gonna rock." And she killed it.
With rock.
With rock. It was, in fact, the highest rated band we've ever had from anybody.
And what is your deep connection to the nightlife? Because you're always connected to nightlife, to Krista, to Flash. Flash, I know, is connected to the nightlife because he used to be a bartender.
Right.
Right. But how is your connection to the nightlife, to Krista? Is it through Flash or is it?
No, it was through the radio station.
Through the
It was
radio.
through the radio. So I was a
Because
rock.
I know you always advocate for the for the people.
Yeah,
the
I was a rock
business
DJ
owners.
at Star 1019. I did afternoon drive, and as a result, I did all the nightclub events. So I did a Wave Waikiki, which is where I met Flash when he was the marketing director. That's where I met Krista. I just finished emceeing an event, and the Krista story is great. I love telling the Krista story because I just finished emceeing an event. I'm standing at the bar, and Krista is next to me with a friend of hers, Sandra, and the two of them are there. You know, these fun girls. They're looking like they're having a good time. You know, they're beautiful. They're all dressed up, and I'm at the bar, and and I worked at the Wave as an MC, so I always was alone. So I always just picked up people, and we just did things.
Picked up chicks. You can say it.
No, but like not
You
just
picked up chicks.
I picked up chicks. I picked up dudes. I just picked up people, and we just went and we would bar hop.
Yeah.
So I'm standing there at the bar. I'm drinking my drink, and I look over. I see these two girls having a good time, and I turn over and I start talking to them. And we're having a great time. We're buying some drinks. Flash used to give me drink tickets, so I would I'd act like a big shot. I'd buy drinks for everybody, and all on Flash. And we're having a good time, and all of a sudden her friend decides the night is over, and she wants to go home. And I'm like, what? It's 2:00. What are you doing? And so her friend's like, I'm going home. And so the two of them start walking out the door. So naturally I follow them. And I get out to the street, and her friend is like, no, the night is over. I'm tired. I want to go home. And Krista puts her purse down right on the sidewalk, and she says, I'm protesting. I am not going home. And I stood next to her, and I'm like, damn the man, not going home. And the two of us stood in protest, and her friend was like, you guys are stupid, I'm leaving. And so she left, and then Krista and I went back inside, and we partied for hours, and we met Flash, and the whole thing was great. So
The rest is history.
That's insane.
yeah, that's how I met Krista.
insane.
Krista was a party animal, more than I was. She was the party animal.
I think she, as far as marketing and partying and events, she was really, she kind of was the trendsetter. She was kind of the.
But she didn't have an ulterior motive. She's a connector, naturally. She would meet you and make a true, real connection with you and file that memory away so that the next time she saw you, she knew where you met you. She knew what you told her. She knew everything about you that you told. Like, she remembered that stuff. And how many times have you met somebody and you're like, oh, damn, dude, I don't know where I saw you.
Right.
Your name is Jason, I think. And, she would come up and she would go like, your name is Dewey. You're a surfer. I met you at this place. You were hanging out with so-and-so.
Yeah.
And by the way, how's your dog? And she'd like jam all that stuff out with like no effort.
Wow.
And that was, that was her gift.
Yep.
And then in addition to that, she really liked it. She liked meeting people and all of that. And hanging out with her was probably my favorite thing to do, just because everybody she met was her best friend.
Yeah, I think I was. I mean, I wasn't that lucky. I only got to meet her, I think, 2 years before she died. She came to me and she said she wants to do a Christmas party. Every year she used to do a Christmas party that used to call it Krista Mas instead of Christmas. her
And
name
she
is
was
Krista.
Jewish, by the way. But
Yeah.
she still did Christmas.
And then she told me, let's do a party. And I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Well, let's do it. So I built a fireplace with Royce. A huge fireplace. I'm talking about huge.
Yeah.
The fire itself was an 80-inch TV from Costco. We just put a DVD of fire. You know how you have those?
Yeah.
And we built around it like a fireplace.
Yeah.
And the fire was, of course, we refunded the TV afterwards to Costco. Shout out to Costco, Ivale. Anyhow, but it was amazing.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of decoration for her. And then suddenly that day she comes with trees and decoration and balls and lights and candles. I'm like, whoa. And she takes out from her bag and from her this and from her and she had decorations everywhere. You remember that party?
I do. Great party.
And she brought, I was amazed how many people, famous people, I'm talking about famous, like
Yeah. Real famous.
Hawaii, real famous.
Daniel Day Kim was
Yeah.
there, Hawaii Five-0. He brought
Yeah.
some of his castmates
Yeah.
with him.
Yeah.
I
I
had
was
the cast
shocked.
from Waikiki, the movie there. Chris was just her crowd.
Yeah.
And it's not because they were celebrities. It's because they were really her friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what blew me away.
But she was also, someone fun to be friends with because you knew you're going to get to the right place at the right time with the right people. You're going to have the right fun. She definitely did the best events in town by far, by a long shot, from anyone. Like a pool party that she did versus a pool party that anybody else
absolutely. 100%.
did. 100%. She knew how to have a good time. And what about Flash? Flash is doing what now?
He's with me on the
He's still
podcast. He actually took my spot at the radio station.
Oh,
so
wow.
he's doing the afternoon drive on Star 1019 now.
No way.
Yeah.
No way. So he's a broadcaster. He's on the radio every day.
Yeah.
No way,
Every
I
day. He's
didn't
actually
know.
on KSSK now, too. He's the real deal.
He does everything for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's all yeah.
In addition to his marketing, his promotions,
He still
and
was
everything else.
with Sydney Chu. They still have that modern
Modern media.
modern media.
Yeah.
Shout out to modern media. I always was intrigued by Flash haircut. He has no. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, tell me to fuck off if I'm wrong. Doesn't he has the best hair ever? Like better than what? Better than
Justin Bieber.
better Mel Gibson. But he is just like perfect.
It's good.
It's just perfect. I know you like your hair too. I know you have a big fetish for your hair. And I know there's an urban legend that I don't know if Krista was there, but Krista or maybe Flash, I know you guys used to go wasted.
I don't know. What?
What?
I mean, not wasted. But I know you used to get wasted and then used to go to the recording room and then record yourself and do like the podcast right there, drunk, and do crazy stuff.
I think I don't think those ever made the air, but
They shouldn't.
If
I
they
want to
did,
listen to it.
I want to listen
I want to.
I guarantee they weren't any good. But what we would do is we would go back to Flash's place after the wave, after a night. Like I'd go and I'd introduce the bands at 10 for work, and then at midnight I'd be off. We'd hang out at the wave for a couple of hours, and then we would go back to Flash's place and after party. And at the time, podcasting was actual iPods, and there was a device that I had bought that was a microphone for your iPod, which was groundbreaking. And I could hit record on the iPod and record, and so we would record shows there at Flash's kitchen counter.
No way. Just the sound.
Just
the audio.
It was just a little microphone that would plug in. Like now, I mean, you can buy them anywhere. You just plug into the bottom of your iPhone. But at the time, that didn't exist. And so, like, we would plug into the iPod and put it on the counter, and we would just sit there and have conversations. I almost guarantee you those never made air, but they were fun.
I heard they were fun.
A little off-air shows. Krista was hilarious when you had a few drinks in her. She would just talk with some crazy stories.
What is the craziest thing that you think you did? Whether it's as an anchor, as a radio, as a
Your Howard Stern moment. Let me hear your Howard Stern moment.
juice.
Yeah.
There's been a few times where I wonder if those things should ever be mentioned.
Yes, they should be mentioned.
At least in this show. We'll just delete them. No, seriously, it's okay.
I love you, Dewey. I love
Yeah.
you.
We're just going to delete.
That's right. Just mute this section out. No, you know what? Flash and I, after we had done the podcast for several years, I was working in the afternoon drive at Star 1019, and one day my bosses came to me and they said, we're changing the format of another station, and you start on mornings over there. And that's the dream job. You go from afternoon drive to mornings. I'm like, that's fantastic. When? And how can I build my team? Let's do it. And they're like, well, today's Friday. You start Monday.
Fuck.
And you're going to use the existing. We're going to leave one of the DJs there. You're going to go work with her. And what it was Island 98.5 had just let go of their morning show, and they were moving the Wake Up Crew from 93.9 Jams to Island 98.5. And the Wake Up Crew was the most popular show, just like they are now.
Yeah.
Or at least were up until recently. And so we were going to replace them, which is the kiss of death.
Yeah.
You don't ever want to replace the best show. You know, like if somebody told you your podcast is going to go in place of Joe Rogan, people are going to get angry.
Yeah.
And I would probably shit in my pants.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a great show, but I mean, that's Joe Rogan, you know? And so that's what it was. It was like we had a good thing going. And so I called Flash and I said, Flash, let's go. Let's do it. And so Flash and I started doing morning radio, nothing we knew anything about. My dream job at the time, and Flash was doing it for fun. And we wound up, at the time, he found a doctor, a cosmetic surgeon, who would do implants. And so we gave away the breast summer ever.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. Best summer ever. You gave away a boob job.
We gave away a boob job.
Fuck, I remember that. I swear
That's
to God.
so brilliant.
2008, 2009?
It might have been, no, I think it was closer to 2011. 'Cause it was
11.
after the podcast, yeah. And
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, it was one of those things where the bosses went, "You did what? What are you doing?" And you know, like the bosses didn't know until it was too late, and then it was already happening, and then it lasted for 10 weeks, you know, and we wound up giving away.
I swear I remember that.
Yeah, and it was a big promotion, and we had a lot of applicants. And
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
And you know, the girl that wound up winning it, of course, you know, she was perfect for it. It worked out great. That was the craziest thing I ever did in radio was I did that, and then they wanted to do it again years later, and I think iHeart was like, I think you've done enough.
Do you want to have your own show, like not just a morning show, like your own show, like do something on TV?
You know, yeah. I mean, I have a show. You know, I do the morning news now. I like what I do. I like where I'm at. You know, ultimately for me, as long as I'm in Hawaii, it doesn't matter. You know,
Wow,
like
nice.
if I can do this show or that show or you know somebody hires me to do something behind the scenes, as long as I'm here, I don't want to leave Hawaii. You know, I mean, I just don't. I think about my friends that live on the mainland. You know, I had an offer to go to Vegas a few years ago, and I think about, you know, like just this last year, COVID in Vegas. And I think how miserable I would have been.
You know what? Sometimes I feel a little even, you know, I feel like I feel uncomfortable to my friends back home in Israel, my friends in Germany, my friends in Europe, that they cannot live like us. They cannot go to the beach and just enjoy. They cannot take a longboard and just surf a couple of waves and refresh their brain. They cannot go on a hike.
Yeah.
They just don't have it. And they don't know that you can live in a way of just nature and have fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they just don't know. My people in Israel, they don't know. They don't know. I tell them, oh, we just hang out and we grill.
Yeah.
And they're like, on a Wednesday? On a Wednesday? I'm like, yeah, you know, we got together. We had like 3 hours, you know. You know what I mean? You barbecue on a fucking Wednesday?
Yeah.
It's easy, right? It's like
you just
normal.
go downstairs, you just do it.
Yeah, you just do it. It's normal.
Yeah.
In my country, like if you barbecue on a Wednesday, you're balling. You balling.
Oh, you unemployed or homeless somewhere.
Oh, you're unemployed.
Oh man. Yeah, Hawaii is unbeatable. You know, for the quality of life. You know, people say, oh, it's so expensive, and it's like, you know what? You're gonna live to your means wherever you live. You know, if I had moved to Vegas, that was the selling point when they tried to get me to go to Vegas. They're like, oh, the cost of living is half of what it is in Hawaii. And I was like, you know what? But I would spend double to try and recreate how good of a life I had in Hawaii.
100%.
And
Couldn't
so
agree with
I
you
wouldn't be
more.
in a better place. I'd just be in the desert,
Yeah.
you know, with no ocean nearby. And so, you know, for me, it's very, very essential to me to be in Hawaii. And so if that means I'm not in news and I'm doing something else, then so be it. But, you know, that's...
Man, I like every single guest, like yesterday, you know, every single guest they say something that's so, like, to me, I was just like, oh, what you say so, because all of us, like, sitting here right now, there's, last time I read was, like, there's more people leaving Hawaii right now because the real estate prices drove a lot of people out,
Yeah.
And I think what you say is so powerful, and I think, for our audience who out there are listening and look at their life, I think the moment you realize that when you get up in the morning and you see the kolau, you see the sunset, the sunrise, when you see everyone in the street, there's a little shaka sign, and every time you want to get in the lane, someone let you in, those are priceless.
100%.
Yeah.
And then, hey, what are you doing, Johny? I'm hungry. Let's go. Let's just barbecue. Doesn't matter what day it is. So almost like you slow down the world, and you're living your life in your own term, and that is priceless. Not the house, not the money, not everything else. And I think for you, you're an anchor for
And
like
to
a
say
major,
that,
and you have ability to really, truly, if you want to, you can continue to climb this ladder of media and become whatever, ABC, NBC, somewhere in New York and LA. But you chose Hawaii, and you don't have any kids either. Like, hey, it's not about school education.
Yeah, it's not even about the education.
And that is so, because I think a lot of time...
Yeah.
Fucking love you, Maleko.
Yeah, no.
Fucking love this guy.
I know, because I think people out there go, listen, stop.
Yeah.
What you have right now
Yeah.
is so beautiful. Just the
Yes.
moment, the memories, and this time we've been hanging out for an hour just talking story, and that is what life is.
Yeah.
So this moment in time in COVID, I think you just said something that's so beautiful, and I don't want it to go away without kind of focus on that. So hopefully by the end of this show, people walk away and go, you know what, maybe it's okay that I don't need all that.
I agree. If Maleko, that actually made it,
Yes.
chooses
to be here and not become, whatever.
and not
the
to fucking
Oprah
follow
show
the dollar
in Chicago.
but he follows the happiness. But it's
yeah.
also what Loan Tainana said yesterday: choose your happiness.
Yes.
You can choose. He
Yeah.
chose my happiness is over here. Whatever it takes, I do.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. I can relate because I come from a fucking war zone, but so when
It's
I
true.
live here, I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I was married a few times. I don't know if you probably got that from Miko.
We didn't want to go there, but I'm glad you did. we're a bunch of dirtbags, but there's a limit. There's a line that we don't go. Party too much,
Yeah.
we go there. But
You guys went too easy
couple
on
of
me.
times
Yeah.
married.
We're semi.
I'm glad I know where the line is.
Yeah, we want to be respectful.
I appreciate that. No, I was married a couple times before, and while the marriages weren't successful, what was successful for me was learning what was important to me, and establishing that base before I met somebody else.
Yeah.
And when you're 23 or 22, and you decide, oh, I'm going to marry the love of my life. For me, I didn't know what the hell I wanted. I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I had success and I thought I had things going for me, and I did. But, I didn't know enough to establish what was important to me in a relationship. And so what happened was, it didn't work out, and you learn lessons and you move on. And unfortunately, you have heartbreak in between. But what was beneficial to me in those things was that I learned what was most important to me was my own happiness, and not trying to find it in my relationship. And then a couple of those relationships that I had along the way, one of the things that was clear to me was, people were looking for happiness, and myself included. Early on in life, I was looking for someone to make me happy. I was like, oh, you complete me. You make me happy. You're the love of my life.
I think this is a very important point that you touched, because a lot of people are looking for something or someone to make them happy.
But
the
not there.
happiness, you have to first be happy in yourself to find happiness with a partner. You cannot be happy with a partner if you don't have happiness with yourself.
It's a hard lesson to learn. You know, people think, because it's like, you think about wants and desires and happiness. What is going to make you happy today? If I get the new iPhone tomorrow, and then you get the new iPhone tomorrow, and it's just as crappy as the last iPhone you had. It's just more expensive. And it's like in relationships. I was in this relationship where it was like, okay, let's have this relationship. It's great. What do we want next? Let's get married. Okay, we get married. Now what's next? Oh my God, let's get a house. Okay, let's get a house. Now what's next? Oh my God, let's get a kid. And then you keep going, and it's like, what's next? What's next? What's next? None of this makes you happy. And that's where I stopped, and I was like, no. You know what? We're chasing happiness, and it's right here. And that's, I started listening to some meditations. I started listening to some guides. Just starting to learn that everything I was looking for, I had to find here and not in my relationship. And before I met Lauren, my wife, the love of my life, truly, I had to do some self-discovery.
By the way, all the pictures of you guys together is like evident that you are deeply in fucking love.
We are
deeply. And every time you have good times, it's like, oh my God, having a good time again. You guys are like, your pictures when you guys are together in the restaurants and going out and hotels and traveling, you look extremely happy.
Thank you. I'm glad you see that, because it's true. A lot of times Instagram is Instagram, right? But when we post,
it's evident.
It really is us. And a lot of that is 100% of that is because she was happy when I met her with who she was. And I was happy with who I was. And we happened to run into each other, and we're like, hey, you're happy, I'm happy, let's be happy together. Yeah! And now we're happy together. And we're not dependent on each other for that happiness. Yeah. And that's... If I could go back to my 20-year-old self and I could say, look, you're not going to find what you're looking for in a relationship. You need to find that first and then find the relationship. That's my only regret in life. Multiple marriages, multiple relationships, a lot of bad decisions, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of people who I hurt. If I could go back to, 20, even 18-year-old self and just say, look, figure out what you want, and then present that person.
But how can you ask an 18-year-old to tell you what he wants? He doesn't know.
But you know what he does know is that, well, I mean, he doesn't know, right? And sure, fine, but don't expect someone else to give you it. That's, I think, maybe the lesson.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not going to know what you want. I mean, I'm 45 now. I'm not entirely sure I know what I want. But I know that it's not going to come from a relationship. It's not going to come from a pet, from a car, from a house.
No.
It's not going to come from having Robin Hood stock in GameStop, Diamond Hands. Let's go.
Wow.
It's going to come from inside.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I would go back and tell myself. And that's like truly the biggest regret of my life is the number of relationships I had where I was looking for happiness in the mirror.
So tell the audience a climax for you in your job, being an anchor. What is a climax? When are you the most happy, the most fulfilled?
Your life force is on fire.
It's breaking news. It's live, nonstop coverage. Like it's
like you did for the earthquake,
for the hurricanes, for the tidal waves, for the tsunamis. It's these moments where the information is coming in, and I don't have time to think about what I'm going to do or how I'm going to do it. But I've learned enough to know how to do it.
Yeah, and
I just do it. It's like those are the moments for me that are the best. Those are the moments for me where at the end of the day, it's like I didn't panic. I didn't panic people, and all I did was present people with the information they needed, and I think people got information they needed when they needed it the most.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't know this whole hour is about happiness. Because really that's what it's all about. I mean, by the end of the day, I think what you share, there's a couple of tidbits that I find it so powerful and so moving and it's so real. Like, men.
I didn't mean to be so serious.
No,
for
no,
you.
no,
I mean,
but it's good because
That's the golden nuggets we're looking for.
but because I think there's so many people out sitting here. Because right now there's a lot of unhappiness feelings, right? Because naturally we have a comparative mind.
Yeah.
You know, every time you eat something, oh, that hamburger is better, or every time with a relation, you would compare this girl to a last girl. That's just who we are. That's just, it's a shitty habit, but we do it, right? And I think for all of us, if we're sitting here in COVID and giving everything that's happening in our state, in our town for the last almost a year now. So what I'm understanding from you is like, look, whatever you feel inside, happy, unhappy, you have to go back inside to fix it. It's nothing to do with the outside. It's just the narrative, the programming for upbringing in society is go outside looking for the solution. But the whole time, what you're saying, the solution is inside. And I believe
you need to update the software.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's true. You got to update the software. And secondly, no one, man or woman, a really sound mind in our 20s, because you're still developing your sense of self. I believe that every 5 years you go through this metamorphosis. 20, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40.
That is so true.
So for me, when I'm 57 now, so when I look back, I'm going, oh my God, we are not the same man.
You look really good.
No, thank you. Listen, a lot of plastic surgery.
Just throw out
A
there.
lot of plastic surgery.
No, it's the salt water. It's
and
the
a
surf.
lot of weed.
No, he's
No, I'm kidding.
Vietnamese. That's why.
It's the
genetic.
surf.
Yeah, it's
It's the
genetic.
salt
It's
water
It's
is
genetic.
what it is.
Yeah,
It is.
for sure, and jiu-jitsu. But
That's amazing.
so I think every 5 years we go through this metamorphosis, and no matter who we are, what we are, our vocation doesn't define who we are.
No.
And that's what I love about what you said today. Like, look, you're so humble and so kind that you're not playing this card. I'm the anchor of the. You say, hey, listen, that's just what I do. My job is take whatever it in and regurgitate that. But my true happiness comes from within. And I'm so lucky that I found love that present itself when it did. You know, and I don't want you to feel ashamed of your two failed marriages, because it's okay when it's no longer benefit both parties. It's okay to dissipate, because we belong to happiness. We don't belong in misery.
And it's probably prepared him for what he is in now.
Now, yeah.
It absolutely has.
So failure, it's not really failure.
Failure. It's just a lesson.
Yeah, failure to me, it's just, hey, at this moment in time, whatever the universe, whatever you want to call it, it just, hey, it's a sign to say, hey, time to move on, right? To find something that fit more you know? And I think this whole hour, man, I was all about getting into like, hey, what happened to the news? You know, radio's dead, this is dead. And, you know, I like where we're ending, because really that's more powerful now, because like, here you are, very
This is
successful.
the truth. This is the...
Yeah, this is the nugget.
Yeah, this is
you know,
the
so for
nuggets.
everyone out there listening, hey, this whole journey, through COVID or not, is about finding your own joy. Because if you're joyful and pleasant, and you're joyful and pleasant, we're gonna have the best Aloha hour ever.
100%.
And then wherever we go, no, doesn't matter. And I love the fact that you're taking chances and do these things to provide these artists to come together. And everyone out there like me, I would love to take my wife to go somewhere and listen and enjoy some entertainment and music. And music is healing, you know?
100%.
And so for you to take that chance and do what you do at Aroma Cafe, I'm like, fuck yes. Maybe this business owner out there sitting there right now, yeah, maybe we can find ways to stay legal, but yet provide not only opportunity for these great Brett, who you know, people like lighting, audio, they can't get a job right now. Yeah. But for you guys to taking that chance and doing that, man, you providing not only hope for the community, but you're giving us like this lift where we needed the most. I thank you for that, man. Fucking amazing what you shared today.
100% Maleko.
Thanks, Dewey.
Yeah. No, seriously. I'm like, I'm
That's
moved.
badass, man.
I'm
I
moved.
appreciate that.
Yeah, we sat in the bathroom together about an hour, 15 minutes ago, shishi, and I go, damn, Maleko.
This guy's the real
I've had a
deal.
good time. I've had a good time.
yeah,
You guys,
so,
you guys
yeah.
really, part of my comfort today, not just the whiskey and the Truly, but it was, the fact that you guys did the research. You cared enough to dig a little deeper. I've answered questions today I haven't talked about in 20 years. But truly, I'm not ashamed of anything I've ever done. Because you're right, they made me who I am and what I do now. It's interesting. I watched a terrible movie a couple days ago.
Name it.
I don't recommend it.
Yeah, what's it called? What's it called?
I never heard a story that sounded like watched a terrible
Hang
movie.
on. What's it called?
It's called Bliss. It's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
It stars the guy with the nose. What's his name?
The guy with the nose.
He's got
Guarantee he's Jewish.
Selma Hayek is in the. Anyway, it's called
Okay.
Bliss.
Okay.
It's a movie about a guy who commits a murder, and then he meets a girl who says none of it's real. It's all a simulation. But it's it's really a movie about something much deeper. Terrible movie, like I said, but watch it. It's fun. And
Terrible, but watch it. It's fun.
and one of the things in the movie that was true was that you make your own decisions about what happens next.
Yeah.
And your reality is entirely defined by you. It's not what someone else says is your reality. It's not what someone else says is this is what you're going to be, or you're never going to accomplish anything, or you will do this or you will do that. It's 100% your perception is your reality.
Yeah.
And so, if the world is crazy to you, then you are crazy. And so fix it. And that was one thing I enjoyed that about the movie. I'm not recommending you see the movie, but if you do watch it, it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, Maleko.
Owen Wilson, that's
Yeah.
who's in it.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Owen
He
Wilson.
does silly.
The guy
movies.
with the
Yeah,
nose.
Yeah.
Well, Maleko, I wanted to, first of all, we wanted to thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Wow.
I'm usually the guy on the other end of the
I know,
microphone.
this is so awesome, Maleko. Seriously, it's so awesome.
I had a great time.
Yeah.
And
I'm full of laughter inside. I'm like giggling inside. It's so
Dewey
good.
and I wanted to award you the Aloha Hour
What?
Hammer Award.
What is this?
It's the Aloha Hour Hammer Award.
The hammer.
Award.
What does this
Yeah.
signify? What does this
Well,
mean?
only the people that are hammers getting it.
Yeah. In other words, you're anchor man. You do your shit. Don't listen. You just bang that shit on the table.
Yeah.
This is legit.
Yeah.
Look at. Are you recording this? Look at you etched this. I don't even know how you get a hammer etched.
A hammer engraved, bro.
Dude, I'm gonna hammer the
Away.
shit out of some nails with this. I
Please
just
do,
want you to
please
know.
do,
I'm gonna
please
make. I'm
Well,
gonna
you
build,
better.
I'm gonna build stuff.
And before we're going to let you go, we have 5
5 and 5.
what would you rather questions
Oh, I was dreading this.
for
Okay.
Maleko McDonnell. Maleko, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Right on. What would you rather? Form a boy band with your 3 brothers or a Chippendale duo with Flash Hansen?
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one. That is a good one.
I think I know the answer, but go
That is
ahead.
a good one. I don't know if you know. It's so okay. You know what? Honestly, I think if I had to make a career choice, I might have more success as in a duo with Flash.
Yeah, hell yeah,
It's true.
Chippendale with Flash. Yeah,
I'm wrong.
He has the
It's
best
true.
hair in
It's
town.
wrong. I'm wrong. I was wrong.
It's true. No,
Dang it.
my brothers are great, but we cannot work together. We cannot. We
I
would,
know. You guys have different last names. I found out.
We would
Duh.
break up. It'd be like a VH1. Where are they now?
Yeah.
3 months after we started.
Right on. And
Willy
our
Manilli.
next question: what would you rather? Shave your head bald like Michael Jordan, or have cornrows like Allen Iverson?
Okay. Shave my head. I think shave my head.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't want to
totally.
say the news
know?
with cornrows.
Although one time I went to a barber and I said, she was excited. She's like, "Oh, I've learned how to do etching in my head." And so I was like, okay, well, do what you want. And so she etched like the craziest vandalism into the back of my head. I looked like a subway car. It was terrible.
And you had to pay her.
And I paid her, and I have pictures. I'll show you later. Terrible.
Right on. And our number 3, what would you rather, be a giant mosquito or a tiny T-Rex?
Oh shit!
That's crazy. That is the craziest thing I've ever been.
It's good though. That might be just as good as
you
the
know what?
first
A
one.
tiny T-Rex, because I think chicks would dig me.
Yeah. You would be super cute as a tiny T-Rex. All right. Okay, that's a really tough one. And everybody that only knows you will understand. Okay. What would you rather? Change your first name to Ronald or change your last name to Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Apua? So it's either Ronald McDonnell or it's Maleko or Maleko Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Apua.
Good morning, Hawaii. I'm Maleko Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Apua.
Or Ronald McDonald.
No, definitely the Humu. I think.
Yeah, hell yeah, get the humu.
Proud
And
boy,
now,
proud boy.
last but not least, what would you rather? Record a 3-hour podcast with Governor Ige
Oh my God.
or a 30-minute
God.
interview with Max Holloway?
Oh, Max Holloway
Yes!
all day.
Yes. That's what's up.
Certainly.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, Maleko. It was such a great pleasure. Dewey, I love you.
I love you too.
It's such a great pleasure.
I know this is such a great.
Brett, we love you. We know
Brett,
it's
you're
the last.
amazing, man.
Brett is the last time that he's going to be with us. He said that he doesn't. He's too busy to be with us.
Wow.
Yes. He broke our hearts.
Brett,
he broke our
we're looking
hearts.
for somebody to help us with our podcast.
What?
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
that!
You know, the whole time you were talking about, you trying to put this event, with the whole union thing, and I was thinking about Brett because there's so many people like Brett and like Buhan. They're in the industry. They're a lighter, they're producer, they're behind the client, and they're like not making a living right now.
Yeah.
Well, Brett is making a living right now.
Yeah, but he's really good at what he does.
Brett, what company were you with before the pandemic? What'd you do?
I was a paparazzi.
You're a photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paparazzi.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Most hated man, but at the same time,
The most loved man.
most
Most
loved
loved
man. I love it. I love
Yeah.
it.
So
Hell yeah.
he's actually is with David, and who actually started and owned it, Hawaiian Session, HI Sessions.
Oh, High Sessions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
High Sessions.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's that work is getting deeper and deeper, and he does a lot of volunteer stuff for all kinds of stuff.
Nice.
He won't mention anything about it, but he does. The guys go out and does a lot of volunteers in the community, and
And he saves cats.
yep.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's his
Yeah,
know
yeah.
He saves
Nice.
cats.
I love
it
cats.
sounds like he's a pedophile, but no, he just saves cats.
No, I love cats.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
cats.
yeah.
I have 2 cats now. Those
No
are
way!
my kids.
Yeah, I'm with
That's
you,
it.
dude. I'm with you. Yeah, I'm in
That's
love
it.
with my kitty
save
too.
the cats,
You have a
man.
cat too?
Yeah, I've never been a cat guy. I named the company that
Until
we
you
start,
get a cat.
and I'm in love with Missy. I have Missy's my girl.
How many cats you get?
9.
You have 9 cats?
No. 15.
You have 12 cats?
Well, he fostered them. He
Wow.
saves. I mean, he
Okay.
rescued me, fostered them.
I only have 2. I have Freddie and Leo. They have an Instagram, by the way, if you want to check them out.
Freddie and Leo.
They were
Hey, yeah.
siblings. I was a dog person before. I had all
Me
kinds
too.
of dogs.
Yeah,
I
me
love
too.
dogs.
I'm still a dark person.
Yeah, me too.
But I realized that cats are easier if you're going to go on trips.
Yeah.
True.
And Freddie and Leo are fantastic. They're brothers. They were from the same litter. And ever since then, I'm like, why would I ever want a dog? Dude, cats are amazing.
So wait, when you fly to for 5 days, you just leave him at home?
Yeah.
yeah, I
That's
leave them
your
at home.
maintenance.
I
Yeah,
have
they're
somebody,
awesome.
somebody comes by, checks on them once a day, make sure, they're okay. And they're fine.
Yeah.
People come and check on them, and the cats are like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Get the hell out of the house.
He's right. He's 100% correct.
It's great.
Listen, will you please come back again?
Anytime.
No, serious. Come back again. Whatever you want to kind of provide information for the community. I think you've been so inspirational. You've been so positive, and I love how we end. And I think what you give to the community today was just, I just
Priceless.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful.
Thanks,
I think,
Hawaii ne.
yeah, happiness
love
is
it.
what it's all
Guys,
about.
thank you very much. We're
All right.
gonna
Hui!
be out.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you.
Maleko. Such a good time.